Hello there. Hey everyone, sorry about that. I probably just scared off anybody checking out the channel for the first time, but I'm the guy with no name, and we are here to talk about my thoughts on Ahsoka Episode 3, titled Part 3, Time to Fly. This is a spoiler-free review of Episode 3, but in order to discuss everything, I will need to spoil Episodes 1 and 2, so this is your spoiler warning. Jumping right into something that really has nothing to do with Episode 3 at all. So earlier, Sabine gets stabbed in the abdomen with a lightsaber, and it's just a little bit annoying. I mean, between that and Kylo Ren and Reva, this pretty much solidifies that Disney is trying its hardest to make Qui-Gon look like a wuss. So in this episode, Ahsoka and Sabine are on their way to investigate what Morgan Elsbeth is supposedly building in the far reaches of space. They also hope that Hera and her New Republic fleet can meet up with them and back them up, but in order for this to happen, Hera needs to get the green light from Chancellor Mon Mothma and some New Republic senators. While on the way to their destination, Ahsoka seemingly picks up where they left off with Sabine's training. Part 3, Time to Fly, is directed by Steph Green, who also directed Episode 2, and she seemingly does a pretty good job at it. This is definitely a short and sweet episode. It's about 30 minutes long, and I much prefer the duration of the first two. Even with the short length, I still felt like there were scenes that were unnecessary or were prolonged to pad the runtime, which is kind of weird. It's not a filler episode. I've seen some people calling it that. It does have things that happen that are important, you can just tell, to the overall series, so it's not like you can skip Episode 3 and go from 2 to 4 and understand everything. I think it's still a necessary episode, but to me, it almost feels like half of an episode. I mean, I'll wait to see what Episode 4 is like and how long it is, but it kind of feels like, just from where I'm standing right now, that they could have combined Episode 3 and 4 and it would have felt like a more complete story. So staying with the negatives, there is a space battle, which you would think is a positive, and I guess ultimately it is, but that's definitely one of those scenes that feels a little bit too prolonged. And there's something that happens in the middle of it where Ahsoka makes a decision, and it's just kind of a weird decision. I don't really understand when you're writing a space battle, writing that, oh, this certain thing happens and this person decides this. It's just a little strange. I have to keep it vague because this is spoiler free, but if you watch the episode, you'll know what I'm talking about. I will say though, moving on to the positives, that it was great seeing Genevieve O'Reilly back as Mon Mothma. She's always great. I loved her in Andor, and I like how she keeps popping up in these different shows. There are a couple characters that, I'll keep it really vague, but they are from the animation, so it's pretty cool seeing their live action debut. I found the training sequence between Ahsoka and Sabine to be pretty good. It wasn't like the best Star Wars training sequence ever, but I did enjoy it, and I am really finding their dynamic fascinating. You can tell that there's some issues under the surface that have yet to be resolved. I am still confused about Sabine's alleged Force sensitivity. I don't really understand it. I mean, you rewatch Star Wars Rebels, I've watched it I think 2 or 3 times all the way through just because I enjoyed it a lot. There's never really a hint of that. It's not like Finn, how they kind of hint that he might be Force sensitive in Rise of Skywalker, but because they didn't hint she was Force sensitive in 4 seasons, I don't really buy it, and I don't really know how I feel about it. So overall, Time to Fly was a fine episode. It was good. It was serviceable. It's definitely my least favorite out of the 3. I'm really hoping that it's not going to be just like a downhill trend. For me, Obi-Wan was like that. I really liked the first episode overall. The second one, I was like, oh, that was still pretty good. And then it literally just was like a, non-stop downhill just about. So I'm really hoping that the next episode is better. It's set up to be better, so I do have hope that it'll be great and maybe one of the best Disney Plus Star Wars series yet. Those are my thoughts on Episode 3. Again, it was a shorter episode, but I am looking forward to watching Episode 4 and reviewing it here. If you enjoyed this video and want to watch any of my previous content you might have missed, or catch my future content like future reviews of the rest of the episodes of Ahsoka, then definitely like, comment, and subscribe. Or don't. I don't care. Anyways, this is Guy with No Name, signing off.